All right. Just setting up the live stream here tonight. Thought I'd do a brief one, probably about 45 minutes or so. We can do some Q&As and maybe talk about the storm coming in and take a look at it here in most recent model runs. Yeah, let's see if Nilo signs in. He hasn't emailed me yet, so we're kind of still waiting on that. Thanks for the kind words, you guys. Yeah, this thing is bearing down on the west coast here. This is going to get Oregon too here. Nice frontal system move through up here. Now it was kind of a nice sunny afternoon actually across some of western Washington. It was pretty nice. Saw some orcas swimming in the Puget Sound a couple hours ago as well, down near the Tacoma Narrows. Yeah, let's see if Nilo makes an appearance tonight here. Somebody's got to peer pressure him into emailing me so I can get him his station. He didn't email last night. Finding Nilo. Oh boy, it's taking on a life of its own. Stockton in the house. Thank you for the kind words, everybody. La Habra. Yeah, I lived in Whittier for a few months there. Nice place down there. Got some rich neighborhoods around there. Yeah, this is looking at some of the totals here. We're uptrending for Southern California. Actually, look at if you remember when I showed this morning, it had 2.8 for Los Angeles, got 3.5 now. So a little bit of an uptrend there. And in that higher terrain, you can see some 6+ inches showing up there. Oxnard 3.4. So you can imagine up in the mountains around Santa Barbara, Ventura, you're going to get some 6+ inch totals out there. And there's still some snow on the ground at the higher terrain too. I think there is still some areas with 40+ snow water equivalent up there, snow water equivalent. So there's kind of a lot in some localized areas up there. And that's probably going to really get tested this round also. Some pretty warm air coming in down there. This is Big Bear. This would be the surface at the bottom here, and the freezing level well above 10,000 feet. Drop back down briefly as you go through Wednesday night to Thursday morning, but you can see that warm air getting to Southern California there. Hello, Denise. Hello, everybody. Oh, did Nilo come in here? Here, I'll put my email up here again. pnwwxchasers@gmail.com. So someone point Nilo to that email address there. Maybe Brad can send him a private message or something. I don't know if that's possible here on the chat, but Grants Pass, Oregon. Yeah, you could see that frontal system went through Oregon today, just now clearing western Oregon there. I'm hoping this system brings some nice precip to eastern Oregon down there. If anybody is from eastern Oregon, let me know out there. I know there's not a lot of people that live out there, but I'm kind of interested about the drought out there. But yeah, you can see this atmospheric river all the way back across the Pacific. I mean, there's a little bit of cape with this system here too. You can see some of these cloud tops. In fact, let's do this. Some of these cloud tops look kind of high. Yeah, I mean, look at there's some energy to this storm here rolling in, you guys. Kind of some nice looking showers there over the mountains of western Washington right now too at the sunset. Kevin Mooney, thank you very much, sir, for your generosity. Thanks for what you do. Learning a lot from Tulare County. All right. Good to hear. A little bit of a different look at things here, the infrared satellite imagery. Yeah, it's going to get pretty crazy out there. I mean, the good thing is after the storm, we'll get a little bit of a break, but then it's going to get active again probably after that. I don't know if you guys saw this. Yeah, cold tops definitely out there. Yeah, it's kind of showing a lot of energy with that system. So this was put out. Oh, there. Let's bring that back here. They're already talking about the storms coming in for March 21st to 23rd. So this is in the 8 to 10 day range here. The pattern looks quite active, and you can see that we're going to remain active here for California probably after a bit of a break. I watch a gal on YouTube. She's a gardener from Eastern Oregon. They're still getting snow. That's good then. Very good. Yeah, I'm hoping there's some lakes don't set up shop over there. MAHFL, thank you for the generosity. So Nilo's got the email. Awesome. And I was going to show you guys that here too. We're looking at this morning's European on the left versus the GFS on the right. These are the ensemble means here, 18,000 feet, kind of general ridge and trough position. So if we back up, there goes the system here. And then we get a bit of a break. But watch what happens. You get out towards the 21st and the 22nd or so of March. Look at that troughing off the west coast of North America. That's going to be funneling some, that's going to be bringing some moisture and probably a storm or two with it into California during that time frame. And that's why they put out this information here for March 21st through 23rd. And that's why that bullseye is still across Southern California for the extended forecast there. So, yeah, you can clearly see it there. Pretty good model agreement for that kind of time frame here. We'll have to see how that trends. It's obviously going to change a bit. It's probably going to ebb back and forth here as we go through the next few days. You're very welcome. Thanks for all the kind words, everybody. Raining hard in Shasta Lake City. Stream rising fast. And it looks like right now, as we speak, I think this is just the beginning here of the atmospheric river. You can see a little bit of lift here, some light precipitation just now. Well, I mean, some of this is probably associated with it as well across areas up Santa Rosa and north there. It looks like a little bit of moderate rain embedded in that, but it looks like the general cloud shield here is bringing some little bit of light lift here into the region. So some precipitation starting to fall just now reaching the coastline, but definitely the heavy moisture is still well offshore here. Had some pretty good thunderstorms rolling across some of the foothill areas out there as well. A lot of lightning. Novato, hope I pronounced that right. No flooding, but ground so saturated, landscape trees coming down. That's incredible. And the big winds aren't here yet either. The winds are really going to be a problem. I mean, looking at the NAM recently here, let's take a look at this. This uptrended here on the NAM. Look at this wind rolling in here. And so you can see it start gusting on the coast really strongly about tomorrow morning, maybe, what is that, about 6 o'clock? And then look across some of the Central Valley and the higher terrain. There's gusts over 60 miles per hour. This is really going to wreak havoc with that saturated soil across the region here. And this is just wild. California, man, what? We're running out of adjectives on how to describe this winter/spring. Raining very hard in Spokane tonight. Let's melt the valley snow and bring on mountain biking season. Yeah, Spokane, you guys got numerous rounds of light snowfall this year. A pretty chilly winter. And I believe today was the first 50-degree day there in Spokane since November, I believe. If what I saw in the National Weather Service was correct. Yeah, fill up your gas tanks, do your grocery shopping, get that stuff out of the way. Just sit back, relax. And if you're not in a low-lying area, that's typically the thing, though. During flooding, there's people that are on hilltops that have to worry about landslides, and there's people in the river and the creek beds and the flood-prone areas. So there's always something that can get you with flooding. Technically, a flood can get you anywhere because due to the nature of landslides, mudslides, and whatnot. Yeah, potential for some warm weather coming up here for Seattle also this weekend. Let's see, how should I bring that up? Let's look at this. That's a good thing. I mean, that's going to be, there's going to be people with their shirts off at Alki if we get 60 degrees here. Let's see what the 18Z European. I've not looked at this yet. There's Wednesday's high somewhere around 50. Thursday getting in the low 50s there. This only goes out to Friday morning. Let's back up to this morning's run. Yeah, look at that. Friday, 57, and there's some 60s starting to show up. So that'll probably, I imagine we might hit 60 on Friday then here. That's kind of nice. And again, maybe Saturday. Look at that. A little bit of a cool down Sunday, Monday. But yeah, that's something to look forward to, actually. The first spring weather of the year is well received here in the Pacific Northwest. Paso Robles in the house. Columbia Basin, Placerville, raining, loud thunder, bright lightning. Yeah, I mean, a lot of places kept getting thunderstorms the last 3 days. 3 days running now with some decent thunderstorms and some pretty heavy rain associated with that across some of the area down across California. I don't know that we got any thunderstorms up here across the Pacific Northwest today. I did not hear about it. There were some showers rolling around. Yeah, it's kind of like an El Nino pattern here. And it actually, you know, that the Madden-Julian oscillation is bringing some of that energy across into the Pacific Ocean here. I think it's enhancing this jet stream, and it's kind of bringing a little bit of oomph to this atmospheric river, and probably allowing this jet stream to reach across also. Ventura County expected to get, I showed a little bit of that at the beginning of the video here. Let me look. So Ventura County, look up in the hills there. You're going to get some 6+ inches there. So there can be the big time flooding there. So if you're near those raging creeks there, you know how they get in the winter sometimes. Really watch out, especially with the saturated soils. Mandatory evacuations announced for burn scar areas around Santa Barbara. Jeez. Yeah, it's going to get wild. And it's such a wide-reaching storm right now. It's actually trended a little bit further south, in fact. But still, I mean, you can see just the really robust amounts all the way from Southwest Oregon, all the way down the Sierra Nevada, all the way to Southern California. I mean, it's like it's targeting the state on purpose or something. Marianne's Outdoor Adventures, thank you very much. Thanks for covering California through all this craziness. We appreciate you. Thank you for the kind words and the generosity. Do I have any season-to-date rainfall amounts? I've seen some coming up, but I don't have anything yet. But wait a couple weeks because they'll be more impressive here towards the end of March and on in through April. There's more storms to come for California, and there's so much of that water locked up as snow in the Sierra Nevada here. I have a feeling we're going to be dealing with flooding probably off and on in through the early portion of April. Yeah, that was interesting. When I was down there, I don't know if you guys, a lot of you probably remember that when I did the live stream down there a couple of months ago, we almost got trapped there. I think that the roads were shut down for about 24 hours. We just happened to sneak out at a brief time where we could get through on 101 there. But they closed it like shortly after we got through. So we almost got trapped there. But yeah, there's really not much of a way out when you're down in Ventura County there, Santa Barbara. There's only a few roads out. And when it starts raining hard, those roads up away from 101 down there are really treacherous. I mean, they were all closed except for 101, and we had to go all the way into LA. We couldn't take any of these roads, across a little bit further north from the coastline there to I-5. They were all shut down. They had landslides over them. So it's probably going to be kind of a repeat of that coming up. Manny Palazzo, thanks for the generosity. You do an awesome job at keeping us in the loop. No pun intended. Thank you very much. Yeah, that bridge was nuts. I mean, it was interesting hearing large boulders just get pushed down that stream so easily. And then one hit the bridge, and that kind of that spooked us. So we had to get out of there. Let's look at this. This is 72-hour precipitation ending March 14th, 5 a.m. So that might have been here. That was from the 11th, though. Yeah, let's not worry about that. I'm going to get off this map then. I don't like dealing with that. Okay. But if you guys haven't seen this yet, also they upgraded this to a high across some of the central coastal areas and the foothills of the Sierras as well. What about Orange County, California? So let's look at it here. Let's bring up a map. Let's just do California. Actually, let's do the NAM 3KM. High resolution, we will do Southern California here, and we will do precipitation, total. And you can see when that precip starts for Santa Barbara, Ventura County out there. It's going to start tomorrow morning as well. And it gets heavy pretty darn quick in that higher terrain, so watch out. It's going to be... And you can see it kind of build up there during the day. When does it stop? It stops about Wednesday morning. It should be done. But you can see, I mean, there's going to be some places. Most of the LA Metro is going for over an inch, probably 1.5 inches for some areas. Orange County, some areas be getting over 2 inches probably. The higher terrain is really going to get drenched here as well. I mean, some of these areas are showing, it shows 9 inches there max. That's going to be on the higher peaks. But still, across a lot of mountainous areas, you're going to be getting 6+ inches, it looks like. When will SoCal get its 70 and sunny back? Well, probably sometime in April at some point. And let's just hope we don't flood things out before then. Yeah, the wind is definitely a concern with this. There's a powerful storm rolling in here wind-wise also. And I just showed this in the beginning of the video. The NAM 3KM. Look at that wind approaching the coastline. Look at 60 plus gusts there right off of San Francisco on the coastline, 65. Some gusts over 60, Sacramento area. Big gusts along the ridge tops in the higher terrain. Just a pretty savage storm here. And you can see why that is here too. This looks like something that rolls up into the tip of Washington State versus central Northern California there. And this kind of shows you how unusual it is too. These purples and whatnot you're getting into pretty anomalous pressures here, sea level pressures. Yeah, this is just a good old classic Vancouver Island windstorm basically there. Yeah, I remember I lived in Southern California for a little bit, and it seemed like a 1/2 inch of rain, 1/4 inch of rain would fall, and it would make the news, and it would be a big deal. Yeah, that's kind of interesting that they're having all the teams still fly in there. You think they would just put it to a different location, because that seems kind of treacherous. Especially tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow's like the high impact day. It's going to be just crazy. I mean, they probably have some place for them to stay nearby the airport and whatnot, so they're probably not in too much risk, but still, it's, yeah. Southeastern Washington, drizzle is going on. And if you guys are just joining me now, let's go ahead and look at this too. So the National Weather Service is already talking about the next round of storms coming in between March 21st and 23rd for California here. And this could also impact the Pacific Northwest as well. But you can see there's still the bullseye here in the extended, the heavy snow possibility, high winds. And, you know, they are talking about it, and there's something to it here. And I pointed this out. If you look here, you got the European on the left, GFS on the right. You really see the good agreement between this troughing here right off the west coast of North America. Potential for a couple strong storms rolling into the west coast here. This would be next week. You're looking at, 8 days from now. Today is Monday, so you're looking at the following Tuesday next week time frame. But I shouldn't say that exactly. Let's see how fast that rolls in here. So it looks like it could be coming in by Monday night, actually. And there's going to be a couple systems trying to roll through here in the meantime. But it looked like they were fairly weak. Let's see what kind of precipitation it's showing here. Yeah, it's showing that potential. There's remarkably good agreement in the 8-day time frame there. It's pretty interesting. What station was that, Brad? 140, 25 gusts, 3.5, 3 miles, moderate rain. Oh, San Francisco. Okay. Yeah, I bet they get gusts even higher than that too. Bill D. Jr., quiet in Sonora right now. Did you see that storm that produced that tornado a couple days ago there, Bill? There was an EF1 just off to your west there 2 days ago. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know that much about geology to answer that one. Electric Ninja is asking, could it be a possibility that all this water, especially near the Bay Area, may cause increased seismic activity? I don't know how that works exactly. I know that fracking causes smaller earthquakes. I don't know what huge amounts of water or unusually large amounts of water, does that lubricate seismic faults? I don't know. I imagine it's in the realm of possibility. I'm sure somebody can answer that question better than I can, though. Let's back out of here a little bit. We'll show this. We've been looking at this infrared satellite imagery the last hour or two as well. You can see the storm developing here. There's that low pressure. You can kind of see the comma cloud curling up here. A lot of precipitation out in front of this thing too. The cold cloud tops. This thing's got some energy with it. It's probably gonna be a little bit of cape as well. A little bit of convective enhancement with this storm as it moves in. Heavy rains all the way from southern Oregon all the way to southern California. And I wish there was some kind of guidance on just how saturated the ground is in California, because it's got to be just sloppy wet there. I mean, I can't imagine that the foothills have had much of a chance to dry out. The last 3 days, there have been thunderstorms training into the foothills and a consistent light to moderate rainfall falling at times. Yes, 6 possible inches of rain up there in the higher terrain, the Southern California mountains. The tornado made land about 5 miles from its rooftops, came off. Yeah, interesting. Nice. Oh, yeah. So your car, Angel, there, talking about Ventura County, the difference between rainfall, the foothills, and the valley floor. Yeah, it is amazing because an atmospheric river, when it gets lifted, it just wrings out that moisture even more. Just enhances the rainfall dramatically. And atmospheric rivers are pretty low level things usually. I mean, the further south you get, like an atmospheric river that hits Vancouver and Washington State has a little bit, it's not as high. It's generally up around maybe 10,000 feet. And the further south you get a little bit deeper atmospheric rivers generally as a rule. Ventura County. Yeah, the higher terrain. Watch out on the higher terrain. Santa Barbara outside of Los Angeles, Ventura County. There's a lot of rain coming. Yes. Let's do this. Where did I have that? I had the NAM open. Here we go. Let's do the European, the 18Z. And the National Weather Service is going with some of the higher resolution models here as well. It's showing decent amounts on the European here. But you can see 3.5 inches. But if you go to For example, the HER will go to the 0Z that goes out 48 hours, and we'll speed ahead here. And you can see the bigger amounts showing up in some of these high resolution models there. You can see 6+ inches showing up there. And look at the LA basin. My goodness, it's just like widespread 3.5 inch rainfall there. And down, what is this, down towards Oceanside here? Is that far enough down? I mean, just huge amounts, even along the coastline there. And again, it's going to be really warm here for most of the mountains. There shouldn't be any snow falling here across the higher terrain of Southern California. It should be almost all rain all the way up. And so there's going to be a lot of melting going on as well. What's the difference between sleet and hail? So sleet is ice pellets. Hail is basically you're taking a particle like a frozen snowflake or a frozen raindrop and you're cycling it up and through and it gets different layers on it. That's what hail is. Sleet is basically rain that falls through a freezing layer and then freezes and you get ice pellets that hit the ground. Hail is something that gets tossed around inside a storm and it gets different layers on it and it can grow to huge size. A lot of times, it comes out very small, more pea size or marble size hail, but sometimes you can get those huge stones, 3, 4, 5 inches even, especially out in the Great Plains. Thank you for the generosity. Pow X Pow. Is there going to be a rainstorm in the morning on the 15th? As you can see, well, it depends on where you are. You can see it's still raining across some areas like maybe Oceanside down towards San Diego on Wednesday morning. So it's going to be wrapping up Wednesday morning, but it'll still be raining across the area. I mean, what is that? That's 6 o'clock in the morning. You can still see the additional precip falling. So it's not going to be over yet, but it is going to be down into Southern California by then. CPC has soil moisture. I'll have to look that up. I have not looked at it in a while. Yeah, I wouldn't drive around if you don't have to, unless you're a professional storm chaser. Unless you're an emergency service, or you have to be out on the roads. Let's look up towards the northwest. I think that we're gonna avoid the wind up here for the most part. If you see this storm coming in, you can see where that bent back occlusion and the most powerful gradient comes ashore California here. Gets a little bit windy up towards southwest Oregon there, but nothing for western Washington or Oregon really out of this. Although you see it does clip Oregon here. You get some places in eastern Oregon, Idaho, Montana, the higher terrain, but not much at all for western Washington or Oregon. Drew is signing off. All right. Thank you guys for stopping by. I think we have about 600 viewers right now. Yeah, I was surprised at how fast the rivers rise and fall in California. We literally were there and it had peaked over Highway 101. It was just a raging torrent over 101. And we waited there for about 2 hours and we literally watched the river just drop down quite quickly. It's amazing because you get so much rain and the terrain isn't that far there from the ocean when you're down by Santa Barbara, Ventura County there. And so it just dumps over the mountains there and it rushes down and it does big damage, but then it's over. A lot of times it takes a while for those rivers to get really to go downstream here across like western Washington or British Columbia, Oregon. Yeah, some spots are going to get hit really hard and probably get more precip than what's being forecast, Aaron Green. San Luis Obispo, I mean, here, let's bring it up. So San Luis Obispo, and if you're looking at the HER, where did I put it here? There we go. Let's go to precipitation, composite reflectivity. Now we want total precipitation in inches. And we want to go to Central California. But yeah, you can see a lot of rain's coming your way. It's just crazy how the bullseye is right on California. In really heavy amounts. I mean, the Los Angeles Metro, that's amazing. 3.5 inches. Actually, let's look at that a little bit more. I want to look at that a little bit closer across the LA Metro because that is just remarkable amounts of rainfall. Let's look at 3-hour totals here and let this run through. So you look at some places on the coastline there, you're getting over 2 inches in 3 hours. And some of the metro is getting over an inch in 3 hours and probably even more than that. So here's 1 hour totals here. Yeah, this is huge. There's going to be urban flooding across Los Angeles probably. That's almost worth going down to see. But it's not fun getting stuck out there either. Let's look at 6-hour totals. Yeah, I mean, 6-hour period, you're going to get 2+ inches across a lot of the Los Angeles Metro there. That's going to cause some problems. You're going to get that urban flooding, small stream. You're going to get localized. The problem with this kind of precip is that it floods areas that normally don't get it. And so it's really hard to predict. I mean, you can't just tell somebody, hey, watch out this place and that place, because with this heavy rainfall coming down at that rate, it can really get areas that normally don't get flooded. Yeah, stay out of the LA Concrete River. It seems like every several years you see that raging torrent coming down there and you see the shopping carts and you see people and animals and cars. But this could be one of those days. Yeah, I would be very careful if you're out driving on I-5 in the Central Valley tomorrow morning. I would caution against that. I would put that off a day. Honestly, I would put that off a day. The problem isn't that the valley, as you can see here, is not getting that much rain because, again, the atmospheric river is going to be orographically uplifted here and drop huge amounts. But there's going to be so much water coming down off these streams here on the foothills that it can be flooding I-5. And the same thing here, too. You get this terrain off to the west, and that can come back down towards I-5 as well. And especially up north a little bit further, you can see there's some places getting up over an inch and a half, 2 inches on the I-5 corridor. I would not be driving around in that. That's widespread flooding possibly. Yeah, sewage overflow, that's going to be just nasty stuff. Yeah, the Central Valley is going to get that Central Sierra foothills, all those streams, the snowmelt, huge precipitation amounts. That rainfall is just going to come down like a torrent. Yeah, you should stay out of the beach water for about 72 hours after rain like this. You had him at sewage overflow. I mean, I heard we had a big rain in Hawaii and a lot of sewage comes off the island there. And we had a surfer that came out there and almost died because he got cut on coral apparently, but he was surfing the day after when there was sewage still in the water and he really got sick. It got infected and everything. Is it possible for there to be flooding just from the rapid melting of snow come May, June? I think the biggest threat lies in April. I think that's when Los Angeles, or not Los Angeles, but California warms up the most. So I think a lot of that snowmelt will occur in April. And we just have to cross your fingers that it doesn't do it more rapidly than that, like with some additional atmospheric rivers we go through later March, because there's so much up there right now. You kind of just have to hope it comes down gradually. But I think that by later in April, it becomes less of a concern by that point, even though it can still keep streams high. But yeah, you can get it without rain. If you warm up rapidly enough, you can still get that flooding without the rain. That is true. Yes. This is a maximum individual wave height here, and you can see that storm bringing those big waves into the central coast there all the way down Southern California. So some big waves. The swell didn't look, I mean, it was pretty big, but it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't too crazy here, but it's still, you're going to get good wave action with this storm coming in here. Kind of unlike the last one, a little bit wetter wave activity, stronger winds with this storm. Yep, high wind warning is in effect. Denise has to go. Yeah, I have to get off here in probably about 10 minutes or so. I promised I wouldn't stay on too long tonight. Santa Cruz Mountains. Where are the Santa Cruz Mountains exactly? Let me look here. Right there. Okay. You know that it's, oh yeah, that's probably, you're probably going to have some issues there for sure. You're just out. You're in the moderate, though. A little bit further south is going to get it worse. Where did I put that? Her. Or did I take it off that one? Here, let's go to... I mean, it's a powerful storm. The problem is things are just so saturated. It's going to just exacerbate things greatly. But I mean, what you're looking at there in the Santa Cruz Mountains, you're looking at probably some 4 to 6 inch range there. But a little bit further south, Big Sur, down the coastline there, you're looking at 6, 8, maybe even more. Western Nevada County. Well, as you can see, once you get east of the Sierra Nevada there, Nevada itself, maybe some of the higher terrain will get some amounts, but you can see it's really sporadic here. This is why Nevada is so darn dry, because generally when you're on the backside of the Sierra Nevada, things get blocked. And this atmospheric river is really going to dump its precip on California. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be out on Highway 1 tomorrow. That's for darn sure. I mean, I'm a big time storm chaser, but I don't like going down on a highway. Was that 101? Or I think that was, or Highway 1 through, is that Highway 1 or 101 through Santa Barbara there? I forget. I guess we could just look at the map here, huh? Okay, that is 101. But as we were coming down in here, you start getting nervous because there's so much water running off this higher terrain, and you can easily get trapped. I mean, if you get a raging creek, I mean, we got trapped basically coming out of Santa Barbara. I forget where exactly were we? Were we down by Ventura more? I forget exactly. But I mean, we got totally blocked there. And if the flooding would have been worse or washed out the road, we could have been just totally trapped there. So there's like nowhere to go. You know, you can't drive up through the terrain here. There's only 1 or 2 ways out each way. 101 through Santa Barbara, yeah. Yeah, the worst is a warm rain for sure. I mean, a big atmospheric river. And the problem is last round, we did saturate a lot of that snow. So it's got less capability to hold water. And plus the snow levels are still high, so you have to worry about that too. Fresno, I mean, you have to worry about those streams coming off. I don't know what are the waterways like. I can see that you've got some pretty good waterways running off. So I imagine, and the problem is you can get some of those smaller streams that usually, sometimes in the summer, they're totally dry, but they can really get raging also. What about crossing the Golden Gate Bridge? Well, I wouldn't do it when it's peak wind going on, and that looked like it's going to be about when. So what is about 9, 8? The wind's going to pick up San Francisco. What you're looking at 5 a.m. or so. Anytime after 5 a.m., you got to be watching out. Big wind gusts coming in. Clear Lake will reach full status by morning, 7.5 feet. Can you guys see the dog? Oh. Yeah, I didn't see when the wind would stop there. Let's run that. Let's look at 80-meter wind speed. Yeah, by the afternoon, the wind will be dying down. It'll still be breezy, but the big damaging winds are going to happen early morning tomorrow morning. So when I'm doing my briefing, it's going to be underway. Sacramento's going to get hit hard tomorrow also. You're going to get some 60-mile-per-hour gusts around the metro area there, so heads up. Watch those trees. Yeah, it's a golden, like a cream-colored golden retriever. It was probably hard to see her face there. So let's back out a little bit here. We do have Sacramento here. Let's go to wind. Gust swath. You can see Sacramento's going to get it. The NAM 3KM is calling for gusts up towards 60 miles per hour. The HER, something similar there. Yeah, man, the soils are so saturated there. It's going to be kind of crazy there. I'm hoping the winds, if they, every mile per hour makes a big difference in wind force. So I'm hoping that the forecast is off by a little bit and we keep the gusts in the 40s or somewhere around there. So we don't bring down like 20% of the trees out there. I heard about the flooding in 1969. I'm becoming more familiar with it. Thank you for the kind words, everybody. So as we go further down the coast, let's look at that. Because it looks like the central coast is really what's going to get hit. But the higher terrain down for Southern California is going to get it as well. All the way down the coast towards, San Luis Obispo down there. Vandenberg. Looks pretty gusty down there as well. Not too bad for the LA Metro or San Diego, anything like that. But the rain is going to be pretty darn heavy down there. Nevada County, California. I'm not sure where Nevada Nevada County, California is. Is it going to show up in here? Oh, you're up by Lake Tahoe there. Yeah, on the higher terrain, you guys are going to get some big winds out there. Yeah, for sure. It depends on where you are, though. Of course, if you're in some like sheltered areas and valleys, you're going to get less, of course. But on the ridges and whatnot, you're definitely going to get wind out there. And you're going to get snow also, you know, especially above 75, 8,000 feet. The snow at Big Bear is going to be melting tomorrow. Yes, a lot of it. I don't know if it's going to be completely gone or not, but it is going to really get put to the test tomorrow. You have to drive from Jackson to Sacramento around 9 a.m. That's going to be an ugly drive. I'm hoping the storm just comes in a little bit weaker than what it looks like. Grass Valley, Grass Valley. What's Grass Valley? Grass Valley, there you go. Yeah, I'm learning a bunch of new places in California. There's so many cities down here in California. It's incredible. They were talking about Lake Tahoe getting some 5-foot waves out of this storm also. Might get some dock damage. I'm in Big Bear. It's pretty flooded. Yeah, you got a lot of rain and a lot of snow melting coming. What's the snow like there in Big Bear right now? Some houses in South Tahoe are buried in snow. Juan Brown. Where does Nilo live? That's what everybody wants to know. I-80 is, I mean, I went through I-80 and it wasn't even that much snowy, and it was a long, treacherous drive. We drove from Reno to Sacramento, and it's a long way through the mountains up there, and it's very treacherous. I don't know what people are thinking about trying to drive with these snowstorms that have been happening. From Long Beach to San Lucas. So that's down into Mexico. Okay. At 4 p.m. That's going to be kind of treacherous too. Here, let's look at that. Let's go to... Actually, it's not going to let me do the NAM, so we'll just do the Euro. I forgot about that. It's not going to... Wendy Garish, thank you for your generosity. Thank you very much. Just do Mexico here. Well, the wind shouldn't be too bad, but there's going to be some rain falling. Some heavy rain, actually. There's going to be some decent amounts that make it into Mexico there as well. But if you're leaving tomorrow afternoon, yeah, you're going to be in a lot of rain as you go down the coast there on your cruise. Yeah, you might want to hold off in the 80-degree days, though. You don't want to melt that snow too much. Juan Brown is an airline pilot. Stockton, yep, big winds tomorrow. Stockton, California as well. I would just stay in place. If your daughter's in Sacramento, just have her stay home and just... Unless you're in a low-lying area, you're probably going to be okay. Some of the comments. So we're going to get a break after this. So let's go over that here before we wrap things up here. I'm going to go to heights. 500 millibars. We'll bounce out here. We'll look at the European and the GFS here. So this is the trough that's impacting us now. And there's a break. Look at the ridge. Pacific Northwest is going to get a break. There's going to be a break here in California as well. But as we start to roll in towards the next week here, you can see the trough setting up. So it's going to get active again as we go towards the end of March. And it kind of shows this troughing, but this is a good thing here though. This looks like a cooler trough that's been showing up in some of the models here towards the end of March, which would, you know, you wouldn't have 9,000 foot freezing levels with atmospheric river barreling into the state at the very least. So yeah, there's going to be another round of storms, it looks like, though, starting next week in California. Good evening for Federal Way. The weatherman is here. Yeah, that's one of trees' weakness is a saturated soil. I mean, it doesn't take much to tip them over then. Sometimes they fall by themselves, in fact. Pismo, where is Pismo Beach anyway? I forget. Yeah, you got a lot of rain coming your way. A lot of rain. I would definitely stay away from those creek beds. Could this, yeah. I don't think this weather has anything to do with the spy balloons, but march in like a lion, out like a lamb. Hopefully. Hopefully. All right, you guys, it's 9 o'clock. So I'm going to head off here. I got some things I got to wrap up, and I will do my briefing tomorrow morning. The storm will be ongoing. I'll try to give some last minute updates here on when it's occurring, but we'll go over that tomorrow morning. I'll do the normal briefings tomorrow. And if things are crazy, maybe I'll do another live stream tomorrow. Hopefully you guys can join me. Looks like we have a lot of people in here tonight again. So thanks for everybody for stopping by. And stay safe out there. Try to stay out of those rivers and the stream beds out there. Try to stay off the roads. Let the emergency people do their jobs out there. Try to just take a day off and relax. Stay safe. And we'll answer some more questions tomorrow. But yeah, thanks everybody. You guys are very kind. Thanks for all the generosity. And I'll talk to you guys later.